I didn't know it was yesterday that you were from Thank you so much for doing that.
Good evening and welcome to the work session for the Board of Education for Battle Creek Public Schools. Today is Monday, November 10th, 2025. It is 5:30 p.m. I will now call this meeting to order. Will the Secretary please call the roll?
Kate Flores. Here. Ryan Hoagland-Jackson. Here. Emma Flinney. Here. Dr. Alicia Johnson. Here. Nathan Graycheck. Here. Nicole Perry. Present. Kelly Fulbright.
Here. As a reminder, tonight's meeting is being interpreted into Spanish thanks to our partners from Voces Battle Creek. To listen in Spanish, please refer to the description on our YouTube live stream for the link. To our board members and other speakers, please remember to speak clearly and not too quickly so that our interpreters are able to keep up. I will now entertain a motion for the approval of the agenda. Yes, trustee?
Amendment to the agenda.
Okay.
I move that we change section 4, letter E, to consideration to go into closed session, and remove section 6, new business.
Is there any support? Support. It's been moved by trustee Hoagland-Jackson and supported by trustee Flores with the new amendment. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. All opposed say no. Motion passes. The BCPS Board of Education recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the community to express themselves on district matters. We have two opportunities tonight on our agenda for public comment. The Board of Education requests you fill out a public participation form with contact information. As you come to the microphone, please state your name. Each statement made by a speaker shall be limited to a 3-minute duration, and if the speaker represents a group, the person will be given 5 minutes to speak. BCPS Board of Education will listen, take comments and questions under advisement, and not respond at this time. Public commenters will direct all comments to the Battle Creek Public School Board of Education and not to staff or other participants. Let's begin. We do have one public comment. Kayla Horton.
I think it's me, actually.
Okay.
Kayla. Hi, Kim. My name is Dr. Tina Kerr. I'm the Executive Director for the Michigan Association of Superintendents and Administrators, and this is the favorite part of my job. I get to congratulate this year's 2026 Superintendent of the Year, Dr. Kimberly Carter. I have with me my Executive Board President, Tom Livesey, our Director of Communications, Phil Mara, is here, and of course Kayla Horton, who helped us organize, ran the committees for our Superintendent of the Year, is here with me as well. So, Jose Solorio.
You got it.
Okay. What is your nominator? Here's what he had to say about you. He said, Dr. Carter's approach to leadership has been defined by open communication and shared accountability. She met frequently with family, staff, and community leaders, explaining not just what changes were needed, but why. She has not only transformed a district, she has transformed lives. Dr. Carter's application had several other letters of support and words of encouragement. It was easy to see why the committee picked her as our Superintendent of the Year. Having known her for 15 years, maybe, I was not surprised by the committee's selection. The award not only celebrates Kim's many accomplishments and also highlights the dedication and the hard work of the entire Battle Creek Community Schools. So, what to expect now? Kim will be honored at the MASA at our Midwinter Conference in January in Kalamazoo. The Battle Creek Public Schools will be receiving a $1,000 student scholarship from this year's award sponsor at Michigan Virtual. In addition to being the statewide winner, Kim is now Michigan's candidate for the National Superintendent of the Year. She will be honored at the AASA conference in February in Nashville. She will have the opportunity to meet with and learn from counterparts across the country over the next year as our representative with the AASA Soup of the Year program. We look forward to seeing what's next as Kim embraces this well-deserved honor and represents her district and Michigan at the national level. Congratulations, and you'll get your real award at our Midwinter Conference, but this is to recognize you.
I gotta get mine.
Surprised?
Very. Very.
Want me to get in there? You should get in. No, okay.
We have a good meeting now.
So I am deeply humbled, honored, and so appreciative because this is not possible without many of the individuals that are in this room. This is about team and not about Kim Carter, and I am just so grateful to be a part of this amazing organization. Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Surprise, there's a public comment.
Took the vest there, weren't you, Curly?
And point of privilege, is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
I would like to introduce to you my two boys. I have Tony DeVald, he's my oldest son. And Aaron DeVald is hiding back there. Apparently somebody mentioned it because I see my best friend here and my cousins, my sister cousins. So thank you very much to everyone for being here. And wow, you guys know how to keep a secret.
That was a great public comment. Moving on to discussion. Whatever it takes award. Dr. Carter.
All right. Well, just after being celebrated, I get the pleasure of celebrating someone else. This is the best part of my job, is when we get to see individuals who have created change in the district and continue to go above and beyond and do whatever it takes. With that being said, it is my honor to recognize Miss Bridget Toch as a Whatever It Takes Award recipient. Bridget is an incredible asset to Lemoore Park Elementary School, embodying dedication, compassion, and leadership in everything she does. Bridget is often the first to arrive and the last to leave, ensuring that both her students and the entire school have the support they need. She not only centers her work around the needs of her own students, but also supports the students and staff in the other self-contained classroom and throughout the building. Her commitment to collaboration, optimism, and care for others makes her a true cornerstone of the Lemoore Park community. This year, Bridget has taken on the work of 2 classrooms, creating lesson plans, managing parent communication, developing systems, and maintaining clear procedures, all while providing exceptional instruction and care. Despite the added workload, she continues to lead with patience, positivity, and grace, never once complaining and always keeping her focus on what matters most, student success. Bridget's ability to build strong relationships with students, families, and staff has created a supportive, welcoming environment where everyone feels valued and encouraged. Her resilience, advocacy, and genuine heart make her the embodiment of what it means to be a Bearcat. Please join me in celebrating Ms. Bridget Toch for her remarkable dedication and for truly doing whatever it takes to support her students. Congratulations, Bridget. This award is
You guys want to take your photos?
I can go next to you. We can 2 for it.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
well deserved. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Okay, moving on to B, empowering excellence, progress and achievements, Battle Creek Central High School programs. Mr. Gilland.
All right. It's hard to follow both of those. I'm Tyler Gillen, the executive principal at Battle Creek Central High School. I'm joined by a phenomenal team of folks that I get to work with every day. We have Principal McClinney, our Health and Human Services Academy principal, Blake Norvin, our BEd Academy principal, Mr. Ford, Jahad Ford, our freshman academy principal, and Carly Hawkins, our Dean of Instruction at WK Prep. Overall for us at the high school, we're really trying to focus, and I want to make sure you get updated, on kind of 3 different pillars and how we're increasing outcomes for students. First, we'll talk a little bit about our academics and how at Battle Creek Central High School, we are a wall-to-wall career academy school, and for us to wall-to-wall, all means all. So all students who go to Battle Creek Central High School are immersed in the career academy experiences, regardless of where they come to us from, what school they come to us from, or what their level of readiness is when they get there. Our job is to accelerate learning and growth for all students. We'll talk a little bit about how the Career Academies transforms the student experiences to get better outcomes, and then we'll end with talking a little bit about family and community engagement. First, I'll let Mr. Norman talk a little bit about the BEd Academy, which is on the left, which the 4 pathway experiences. So before he talks a little bit about it, Mr. Ford will talk in a minute too about the freshman academy experience. When all kids come to us in the 9th grade academy, he'll talk more about that experience, but the exit point of that freshman academy experience is that students select one of 8 pathways that they're going to go into to do some more concentrated learning for their 10th, 11th, and 12th grade year. Mr. Norman will talk to you about the BEd Academy experiences, and Principal McClinney will talk about the HHS Academy experiences.
So BEd Academy, BEd stands for Business, Engineering, Industrial Technology. Now there are 4 pathways: informational technology, finance, business, engineering, and skilled trades. And we have been working really diligently the last few years on really refining these different pathways and finding out through our partners and in the community really what areas are interesting our students the most and what our community needs. Some of these things were developed 7-8 years ago, and there's some things that have shifted, so we're starting to shift as well. Just for example, just really quickly, like skilled trades has become our #1 pathway area, and so we're really working to expand.
I have several pages, so if you'd like to take notes, no, I'm just kidding. I am the principal of the Health and Human Services Academy, or HHS. And the Academy stands for one powerful idea, and that education is not only about learning facts, but about learning to serve, to use knowledge, empathy, and leadership to improve the lives of others. We are an academy that is helping, and saving lives. We do have 4 pathways as well. The education pathway is the pathway that nurtures the next generation of teachers and mentors. The public safety pathway develops young leaders who are committed to protecting and serving others. So that could be through police work, through EMT service, through being a firefighter. The nursing pathway offers students hands-on experience and foundational knowledge in patient care, medical terminology, and health service. And if you have not been up to see our sim lab, I cordially invite you to come up and see what we have. No one can touch us, no one. And through our healthcare pathway, students explore a broad range of professions to promote wellness, prevent illness, from physical therapy and laboratory science to public health and medical administration. And beyond that, the Health and Human Services Academy teaches something even more important: the value of empathy, leadership, and service. And it equips all of our students not only to succeed in their careers, but to contribute meaningfully to society.
So in regards to academics, what students can expect to experience at Battle Creek Central High School is in every classroom every day. We really have pulled on the Battle Creek Way instructional framework and pulled out kind of the 5 fundamental strategies that kids are going to be doing some frequent small group purposeful talk, so they can decode kind of academic text and academic rigor down to student talk and make meaning out of it. And we expect that every kid is writing in every class every day, right? We know that written expression is how students take their thoughts and like really refine them to make meaning at a higher order of thinking. We also expect that students are engaged in project-based learning, most specifically in their pathway-specific classes, but embedding components of project-based learning in all their core area classes. Our core curriculum is constantly going through revisions of how can we teach that through the Career Academy's lens. So some of that looks like job-specific. So what does it look like when we're looking at a 21st century health course for them to look at what are the competencies and skills that a nurse or a student entering into nurse school might need to find success at the next level. But also, broadly speaking, what does it look like for us to create an English class where we're creating collaborators and critical thinkers, kind of our portrait of graduate competencies. And then lastly, all of our schools all of the students are assigned to a small learning community. So in the Freshman Academy, there are 2 different teams where the core area teachers, 5 core area teachers share the same caseload of students. So they're really getting to know each student by name, need, and strength, and applying supports and interventions to guarantee that all students find success. And then the same thing for the Be It Academy 10th grade, HHS 10th grade, Be It 11, HHS 11, and then our senior team comes together as one big team to make sure that our kids finish strong. From the student experience, again, I just hit on the small learning communities, but it's really that interdisciplinary grade level team who share students and just guarantee that we support them through. And then we also engage in bi-weekly family meetings where we celebrate the successes of the students. We celebrate students of the month. We celebrate students who are making stride towards our attendance, behavior, and course performance goals, and students who are just demonstrating growth in those portions of graduate competency areas. I'm going to head over again in just a second, but we kind of go through our 4 E's to help contextualize what each student should expect in each year of their high school experience. So the freshman, Mr. Ford's going to talk to you about what does it mean for a kid to go through some career and self-exploration to refine their future goals here in just a second. Mr. Nordman will talk to you about the sophomore, how do we expect that kids are engaging within their career pathway. And then their junior year, how do we evolve that into that they're experiencing more tangible experiences within their career field. And then Principal McClendon will talk about their senior year, what it looks like for them to exhibit that.
So at the freshman level, it's, as the last slide indicated, it's more about exploration. How do students figure out what they're interested in? They have to go through this exploration because a lot of this information is new for them. Not too many kids think about what they want to be when they're 14 years old. So they go through a lot of exploration. So one of our first things that we put in front of them is a career exploration fair. This year I think we have about 56 different community partners in our gym where kids were able to go around, meet, kind of get some hands-on opportunities to kind of see what that industry is about. One of my favorite things that came out of it is TI Mechanical is one of our community partners, called me over and just been working with a kid, doing some pipe things, doing some hands-on thing. And he goes, Mr. Ford, I want this kid to do an internship with me in a couple years when he's a senior. I said, great, we'll keep you involved. So it's just those opportunities that we want to put in front of our kids. Right now, our freshmen are going through career panels. Again, it's a little bit more intimate. What these industries are coming into the classroom, smaller groups, and having a little bit more robust conversations about what it takes to be a part of that industry. So that's a little bit more hands-on. And then we're doing a lot of interest survey work. Our freshman seminar teachers are kind of leading that charge. In January, they will wrap it up and do the kids will pick their 3 pathways. Out of those 8, they pick their 3 top pathways, and then we'll sit down as a team and start, almost like a Harry Potter situation, start sorting them into their pathways. And then in May, we will have a decoration day, and that's a bigger day. We invite the families. We do that at Kellogg Auditorium, and kids will be assigned to their pathway, given their shirt, and just kind of celebrate where they will meet their next principal and start to get immersed into that sophomore year. So those are some of those key components of the freshman year when we go through that exploration.
Yeah, so through that sorting process and then declaration day, that is when the engagement starts. So the students will get t-shirts and they'll either be, they've chosen Be It Academy or HHES, which is the Health and Human Services. And so it's really an exciting day, and it's very exciting for us, and we got our own little mantras that we've got, and we get the kids all revved up and everything. And so they come to us, and it starts right away. They have, in 10th grade, they take Career Academies class, which really, career connections class, which really starts to prep them for, within the pathway that they've chose, what that's really going to look like. One of the great things about career academies is that once that student makes that choice, sometimes they can figure out that is what they don't want to do, right, over a couple of years. And then they can make that decision, hey, I thought I really wanted to do this, but this really wasn't for me. So a lot of people look at it as like, well, you're really going to lock in a kid and in high school and everything else. And that is not necessarily what it's about. Sometimes they make that great choice and it's perfect for them and they know, but the other thing is sometimes they find out they want to do something else. And so that's a great thing that we kind of work through in Career Connections class. So we do industry tours. That is the first thing we do with the groups in October. We go to Denso. Last year we went to Doubletree, which was fantastic. We got to go out to Beacon 5 and look out over the city. It was really nice. But these industry tours are really fantastic because it's getting out of the community, it's hands-on, it's the kids really seeing what they might be interested in. Sophomore Future Track, that's a Zillow program that they also through that class, where they get to look at maybe what their strengths are. They take surveys around what industries they might be pulled toward or interested in. This is also when we start the mock interview process, where students will be, we've got a wardrobe of button-ups and ties and everything else, and so our business partners will come in and students will sit there and interview with our community partners, not necessarily specific on just a job specific thing, but more around just how you go about interviewing. Make sure your phone is on silent. Make sure you've got proper dress on, that your language is appropriate, those kind of things. The digital portfolio is also started that year, which goes through the senior experience, through senior capstone, which we'll get to. And then community engagement in the classroom. Our partners start coming in Career Connections classes and start working with the students about real world scenarios. For example, like Kellogg's has come in and our students design cereal boxes. Right? And you should see some of them. I mean, they're really creative, out of the box stuff, and they actually present for Kellogg some of these new ideas around cereal boxes. And so and also Marshall Community Credit Union, which is going to be opening up at the high school in March. They do a financial reality fair with the students. They come in, and that's a fantastic program.
What's that date? I'm ready to go.
I'll sign you up. Yeah. So the junior year, this is after the engage part, then the experience part. So we've got students going out in the community for industry tours. And senior year, it's job shadow, junior year, it's job shadows. So what we try to do is work with our community partners about getting students to go to our community partners to the actual job site and just find somebody that they can go with for an hour or a couple hours during the day and just shadow them and see what it's like. Not actually put their hands in and do the job, but to get out into these different job areas and see what it's really like. Here again, MCCU is going to be a big player for us with this job shadow. They are actually going to be hiring 2 juniors this year to get trained up this second semester, and then over the summer they're going to be hired in by MCCU, and that's a senior situation that Principal McClinney will talk about. College visits the junior year. So we're really trying to move towards looking at our students, engaging with them around what colleges they're interested in, what careers they're interested in, actually marry them with the colleges we're going to. This year we did go to Albion and GVSU, spent a whole day touring the campus, and it's just a wonderful experience to get the kids again out of the classroom into college campuses where they can really see themselves on those college campuses. Mock interviews in junior year become much more individualized, where actually within the job or the career that the students are interested in, we start to ramp it up and funnel the idea around these interviews to, I'm specifically interviewing for this type of job. So we're giving them the language around if I want to be a banker, if I want to work in engineering, to try to focus them through those interviews in that way. Digital portfolio, again, is working towards that senior year final project. And then again, the community engagement in the classroom, where we're bringing in our community partners in a more specific way to work within the whole classroom to engage with students.
All right, so senior year is a culmination of all of their hard work. This is where they get to show off everything that they've learned. So they have their senior capstone class, which gives them an opportunity to create their resumes, fill out college applications, and then they have the senior job fair, and we have our community partners come in, and they interview the students right there on the spot. They have an opportunity to land jobs right before they get out of high school. Some of them also have internship opportunities presented to them, and so those parlay into, again, apprenticeships and then job opportunities. Decision Day is a great opportunity, so please come out when we have that in May, where they have decided where they're going to go, whether it's college, the military, or if they're going into the workforce. Every student that is graduating will be celebrated. So they get their t-shirt, they find out what scholarships they're receiving, all of that. So it's an opportunity to celebrate being a senior and all of their hard work. There's Academy Showcase during the Senior Honors Night, where they share off their digital portfolio, and that is a culmination of all of their hard work starting from their 10th grade year. And each year they have an opportunity to update their resume, their portfolio, and show all of their experiences in that portfolio. And then they have the college tours again, because this is where they make that decision. October has been very busy for us at Battle Creek Central, with colleges coming in, students getting in their college applications, as well as applying for scholarships. So this is the culmination of not the end, but the beginning of the next chapter of their lives.
So that's kind of overall the student experience. They walk through the career academies, through the grade levels, but we also have focus on our family and community engagement. We actually just had an event this evening, so we all came running from that. But we have a strategic partnership with Goodwill as our convening organization, but they engage a lot of our local area employers and industries, post-secondary institutions, for a focus on how do they integrate into the classroom or impact the classroom experience. They also serve on, each one of our academies has an advisory board that reviews and kind of sets goals for the academies for the year. And they are the ones that serve as like the ground level steering committee to help us strategically identify what are some key initiatives that will move us closer to our vision as a school, which is how we got to the credit union, sorry. But we also have a larger steering committee that Dr. Carter co-chairs with us that really looks at the bigger picture. And it brings a lot of the local area decision makers within the industries within our community to help steer the overall experience. Are we aimed at the right outcomes? Are we ensuring that the overall big picture student experience is guaranteeing that students are walking out with?
Sorry.
Oh, that was my timer, like I'm done.
You're good. You wants money.
And then this year we also launched our PTSA or PTA, which is our Parent-Teacher Organization Association, which is designed to help situate our families as co-educators and co-celebrators for student success within our building. It was long overdue, but we are so thankful to have our community and our parents lean in to help that endeavor. Overall, here's just kind of a general list. A lot of families, when we connect with them, when they're trying to make the choice on why Battle Creek Central High School, right? Why, when there's an abundance of choice within our community, why us? So we like to help, one, the Career Academy model as like a lever for equitable outcomes for our kids, but they also want to know, how's my child going to be supported? So we have SEL support in abundance at Battle Creek Central High School. We have a focus on that career and college readiness through all the things that you've heard about, and really at the granular level, that small learning community as the hub of support to guarantee that all students are seen by name and strength. And then for kids, there's sometimes need some extra love, some extra time. We have two phenomenal programs that operate within our building: Bearcats Beyond the Bell, which extends the school day for students, and then we also have Bearcat Blast, which extends the school year into the summer program. Points of pride for us. We talked about the 4 E's earlier around the grade level experience, but we also know that our goal is to ensure that all students walk out with one of the 4 E's. And for us, we won't accept leaving chance, right? We know that if a kid does not exit high school with a plan, that we are guaranteeing that they are not going to find success in the adult world. So it is our unapologetic focus to guarantee that all kids have a plan beyond high school, and that we align our supports and their educational experience to guarantee that they have access to that plan. Our community has invested in us in the Bearcat Advantage, so it's our responsibility professionally to make sure to guarantee that kids, when they have access to that Bearcat Advantage, can access it to its true potential. So a point of pride for us is last year, you can see kind of the growth over time. But for 2 of the last 3 school years, we had no kids that didn't know what their goal was. Every kid knows what their plan is when they leave high school. But one area that I came to you about this time last year when we were looking at equal opportunity schools, we still identified that we had a gap, right? We had all these kids that were saying, I want to go to a 4-year university, but we hadn't guaranteed that they were entering the 4-year university at grade level or beyond grade level, really to access that next level education. So we set a goal for ourselves that we were going to increase student participation and achievement within our honors, dual enrollment, AP coursework. So from last school year, we had 42 kids in our honors classes total across the building. This year we are at 160. Last year we were only able to convince 57 students and their families to take on the challenge of an AP rigorous course. This year at 197.
It's amazing.
And then for dual enrollment, we've increased by 16. So we've gotten 16 more kids to take classes at the collegiate level to show that they are ready. So we are seeing both alignment with kids that are making the choice to extend their education and our supports to guarantee that they get there. Next, I'm going to introduce Ms. Hawkins. Under her leadership, WK Prep at Battle Creek Central High School has taken another step forward. So Ms. Hawkins will talk about that.
Before we transition,
Yes. Absolutely.
so Legacy Scholars is for like 2 year,
Yes.
and then what is Olivet Direct?
Yeah, so Olivet Direct is just an example of one of the partnerships that we have. So it's a strategic partnership with the University of Olivet, where they have come in and identified that there are still some students who have a gap of funding where the Bearcat Advantage might not cover. Bearcat Advantage covers up to 100% of tuition and fees, depending on the length of students' enrollment within Battle Creek Public Schools. But Olivet Direct has recognized that there are some kids who still might have a funding gap. For example, if they moved, if they were transplanted, they moved to Battle Creek their 5th grade year. Olivet Direct has guaranteed that they will cover the remaining balance of that tuition and fees for any student that gets acceptance into University of Olivet, and they've streamlined the application process to remove more barriers, so they can guarantee, and I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but there is a GPA requirement that if they hit that GPA requirement and they receive a diploma from Battle Creek Central High School, that they get direct enrollment. So they don't have to go through the additional hoops, they don't have to go through trying to identify people to provide letters of recommendation. They have come in and worked with us, and they recognize that a diploma from Battle Creek Central High School has standing, and they've met us to close that funding gap.
It's 2.5.
2.5 GPA, thank you. So just another example of great strategic partnerships that come to the table.
All right, so WK Prep at Battle Creek Central High School, some of our academic focuses this year and beyond is building up not only fundamental skills for students that they may be lacking for whatever the reason is, whether it was a credit recovery that they need to meet, whether they were transient students, whether they were chronically absent at one point and missed some of those fundamental skills. So we're not only focused on building up those fundamentals, but also focused on grade level standards to make sure that our students are ready for whatever post-secondary plan that they are going to go after. We do this through accelerated credit opportunities. This follows credit recovery and follows the Michigan Merit Curriculum and personal curriculum guidelines. We also have small group and one-on-one learning to provide that personalized instruction for all of our students. We found that this helps students feel more engaged and provides a deeper and more meaningful learning experience for them. The student experience with us this year, we have been focused on a culture of celebration. Our students seem to be thriving in that. We've been emphasizing positive peer and adult connections within our arena model structure. We have a strong focus in our building on growth mindset and closing the believement gap. If you don't know what that is, it's a great book. Read up on it, it's awesome. This helps build students' confidence and engagement in school. And we've also been doing twice weekly family meetings, which is our WK students all meet together. This is where we do all of our acknowledgments. We publicly celebrate not only students, but also teachers that students have nominated. And we keep everybody informed on upcoming events, keep everyone connected as part of our WK family. We extend beyond just inside our WK family to reach out to student families and communities by doing monthly family and community engagement events that are hosted inside the music wing. This has helped strengthen our school-to-home connection. We're also doing that with weekly progress reports to make sure that students and families are well informed on how their student is doing on their path to success. And we are partnering with a lot of amazing community partners, not only through Battle Creek Central High School, but also through our family advocates that are working there to provide those essential services for students. And we're doing a lot of collaboration to give our students shared learning experiences because they have a wealth of knowledge and resources that we're able to tap into. A couple points of pride for us. We did a survey for our students, and 91% of our students reported that they feel proud to be part of WK Prep High School. So that fills my heart that they want to be there, they want to be part of our school community. Each student has an individualized education plan that's aligned to their post-secondary goals. And according to our Schoolalytics, right now we're sitting at 97% of our students are meeting all of our Tier 1 behavioral expectations. And 100% of our freshman and sophomore cohorts are currently on track for graduating in their 4-year cohort.
Sorry, this is one quick quote.
Yep.
The students thought they were going to be able to be here, so I apologize, but they were really excited to come stand in front of you guys and tell their story. But this is sincere. A current senior this year, when asked about like the impact of career academies overall and the staff at Battle Creek Central High School, he said that he went to school for the wrong reasons his freshman year, but at BCC we had the support and the chance to bounce back. Now I'm going to college after high school to get ready for the trades, and my goal is to transfer to a university. And then another student said our counselors, the Men of Potential program, the career fair, college visits really put these opportunities in our face and exposed me to what is possible for me. That is the real Bearcat advantage. The other principals thought I lied and planted that, so I promise that's what he said.
I got a job for him in marketing if you want.
He's a smooth talker too, so just and he said, but now I can really see myself as a college student. And he is currently at CAMA, wanting to go into the trades, but then he changed his mind after college visits this year. Men of Potential took a group of kids out to the Circle City Classic in Indianapolis, and he came back and he said, I gotta get to college. So he is really expanding his worldview. And then I put this up, sorry, we had a CT tonight, so I guess it's too late for you to go to that. That was an error or omission on my end. But then in 2 weeks from today, we do have our Be at HHS and Freshman Academy advisory boards that are meeting at their respective times. So please feel encouraged to come join.
Would you put that picture back up with Echo and them to show the kids?
So
These are Isaiah and those are the two students. That's Sincere on the right, Sincere Gray, and Isaiah Hudson on the left. Those are the two students that gave those quotes.
Thank you. We talked a lot, but we have a lot of great things happening at Battle Creek Central High School and WK Prep. We have the best students and the best staff that I've ever been around.
So, great job. I was really impressed by the data, so thank you so much for showing that. Really impressive that you were able to increase AP class engagement, so thank you. And you already answered one of my questions. One of my questions was around career assessments. Do we do early career assessments so that it's really about that they're not surprised, right? Like, I might like to do a thing, but do I naturally have the ability to do a thing? And I'm curious about how we might connect it to academics. So I think about, like, I initially wanted to go to business school. I thought I wanted to get an MBA. And then when I got to that phase, I looked at the curriculum, I'm like, oh, you really need a lot in math, right? And it just wasn't as natural. So I'm wondering, how do we connect it that way and connect it to, in order to get there, this is what you need to do in terms of your GPA and all of that.
That's great. So in the freshman seminar class, a major component of that curriculum, they go through a combination of Zello and U-Science. Between those two kind of platforms and programs, it really triangulates the students, like student interest surveys, and it's a pretty robust experience. It's not just like fill out this one paper. It really is over time. What are the things that you're interested in, and how does this survey data, what does it tell us about your strengths and your desires and your passions? And they kind of overlay that with your aptitude test. So they take a plethora of aptitude tests that looks for what are your natural skills anyways. So how do your interests and your aptitudes start to align? And that is kind of the foundation that leads them into the career exploration fair, which then spills into the career connections, which then spills into them making a selection for themselves. And then their next year in their career connection class, that 10th grade year, that's where they do a lot more of that deeper learning of like, if this is the goal for myself in business, what are the careers that are within business? And then what is like the actual pathway? And Zello actually connects them to state and national level colleges and programs to kind of show them like, here are the colleges that have strong business schools. And let's look at what is the curriculum and the pathway for those business schools. Is that an area of interest? So at the end of their 10th grade year, after they've done a lot of that learning, we actually omitted that earlier, but they have a chance to do a pathway change request, because some kids figure out that 10th grade year like, yeah, this ain't it for me.
Right.
And we want them to figure that out now before they go to a college and change a major and thousands
I did
more
that. I
dollars
went to
in
law
debt.
school and dropped out. Like, oh.
You know, I didn't go to law school, but
I understand
we changed. To the overstay on that one. So we really want kids to be able to like play around with what do I want for my future, and it's okay to have some plasticity. We want you to change and evolve and grow over time.
Yes, thank you. One other question. Oh wait.
I was gonna say, with our career panels, that's part of that conversation is, what do I need out of school to get to this part, to be a fireman?
Yes.
Be a nurse, or be in the business. So they're getting that dialogue with people that's in the industry as well, so.
Perfect, thank you. The other question I have, I know this is somewhat controversial in some ways, but we talk about we want students to be career and community ready, and part of that is how we present ourselves and soft skills. And I'm wondering what our expectations are when they come to the academy. So is there dress code requirements, right? Like, we're preparing you, because I would say working in my departments are within HR, that's one of the challenges we have, right? Not understanding that, and then that's our first introduction to it when they come to the interview, and you might not get the job because nobody has ever told you that that's an expectation. You can't come with your bonnet on and your fuzzy slippers, right? So like, how do we integrate that when we talk about being community ready?
That's a great question. So a lot of that is we try to ensure that we are scaling up, right? As kids are going from freshman level, how do we meet the fact that we're meeting you where you are within reason, right? We think I'm crazy, right? How do we meet you with where you are and continuously level up those expectations with you, attached to a learning journey? Because sometimes, as we all know, teenagers just don't want to hear a thing,
Right.
But when we take them on, for example, when we did the industry tours, you had to have closed-toe shoes and be dressed in something that was appropriate, or you're not going. But our "or you're not going" came with layers of information to families, and layers of information of like, the barrier isn't you don't have shoes so you can't go. It's you don't have shoes, we have something for you. But we need you to kind of adapt to what this experience is going to be. And sometimes kids are still, I still want to wear my Crocs. Great, we're going to get your mom on the phone. Mom, can you help us make it make sense with little Johnny? So that little Johnny can see and learn that there is a different set of expectations. So we're constantly trying to overlay that. And we have the partners provide that very specific feedback. They go through mock interviews all 4 years, and we're constantly having those partners provide that feedback.
Yes.
So we believe that feedback is the foundation for change.
We've also developed a new class this year called Workplace Essentials. Really addresses that, and it's actually an articulated class through KCC. Those students that sign up and go through the process, keep a grade point average. In that class, they get KCC credit if they get a B minus. And so we're addressing tons of the soft skills in that class.
Yeah, thank you. Excellent presentation. Thank you all. I'm excited about all this.
couple little things. Back in that first screen, or one of the first screens where you delineated the 4 pathways in each, I was wondering if you could also go over, I appreciate Ms. McClenny going through each 4 of hers. Can you also go through the 4 on the other side? I'm still curious how like business and finance differentiate, stuff like that. Maybe talk briefly about each of those. I'd appreciate that.
Yeah. Interestingly, again, through a lot of these discussions, finance has been by far our lowest pathway. Last year we only had 37 students, for example, in finance. We had 145 in skilled trades. And again, in talking through with our partners, this disparity, we're seeing that in the community as well, that skilled trades is really an area that a lot of our community partners are expressing that there's so much opportunity. And, it's great paying jobs, and so finance is an area where it's a little more focused. There's an accounting class, also with the credit union, that is going to plug directly into that pathway. So it's a really exciting opportunity for us. One of the reasons we really wanted to bring that credit union was to bolster the finance pathway and really make that a more viable pathway. So
like banking and accounting.
Correct, right. And so Marshall Community Credit Union is opening a branch at the high school, and so that's going to be directly connected to that pathway. With business, it's more like the school store is connected to that. Yeah, and so that really drives a lot of the business pathway. And then again, with the engineering and skilled trades, we're really, the engineering is, CAMA is this new program. Isaiah and Sincere both are in the CAMA program, which is at KCC over near the fort. There's RMTC, sorry, the RMTC program. Over near the fort, KCC has a skilled trades outpost there where students can go and learn some skilled trades, but also some engineering opportunities at the RMTC. So in particular, the finance and the business one, though, that's really the clear areas are really pushing the credit union through finance and the school store through.
I saw that one of the major pathways that they choose for a plan is entrepreneurship. Is that kind of embedded in the business area too, or is that?
Yeah. Absolutely. So there's small business marketing is in the business, advanced marketing classes. So those are definitely pathway courses that we offer through.
I heard you say they can switch after 10th grade. Is it like a one and done, or can they switch more often? Like, how much flexibility is in there?
Yeah, so we still hold true to the fact that we're going to do best for all kids, right? So as like a general rule of thumb, they select their 9th grade year and they can do a pathway change their 10th grade year. But if there's something that we, like as we get new information and as families come forward, like, hey, we really think that this is going to be a better alternative for our son, then we do individual family meetings with this family and the student, and we will definitely make changes.
There's a built-in opportunity, and then there's of course the we're going to make it work no matter what.
Yep.
Okay. And a couple more questions real quick. Sorry, is it okay if I just do them all? Or do people want to?
Well, we're in work session, so yeah, go ahead.
How for our kids that go to our Math and Science Center, how are they connecting? Are they fitting into a career academy still? I was never been clear on that.
Yeah, 100%. So all kids, whether they're at the Math and Science Center or at the CACC, are integrated into our program. There are opportunities for students where they still take pathway courses, but we do provide some level of leeway depending on what the student and the family want, right? So for example, there's plenty of times where we have students who are electing their junior year to take Spanish 3, and they want that AP Lit class, and they want to be in band, and they still have to get their government econ. So we will waive their pathway course for that year, so they can still have access to their education at the Math and Science Center, but have access to a more rigorous pathway that's going to get them for that college readiness. So it really goes down to that individualized student plan, that post-secondary plan. What is it that you want for yourself, and how do we tailor this educational experience? So we are willing to veer from it if kids are leveling up.
Awesome.
100%.
I'm thinking of the kid who might maybe they're in STEM, the Math and Science Center, and they're like, I want to go to Silicon Valley and open a business. Can I do business and can I do STEM and can I they can mix and make their own path and work. That's cool. last question is, how do like the arts and humanities kind of fit into this? Like, how are we incorporating those also into these fields? Which obviously career readiness is important, but we all know that just the general education is also very important for a well-rounded citizen.
So for us, we recognize that even in the adult world, we don't want to limit access to the arts as a singular career pathway. That we want students to be able to explore their whole selves, right? So we recognize that career and college readiness is one thing, and art and expressions of art is also another thing. So we want to guarantee, we don't want to limit that a kid says, I'm only fine arts, therefore I don't have access to learning about finance, or I don't have access to learning about nursing. So for us, arts is available to all students.
Okay, as I can see a kid who's like, I want to be a performer, and they look at this pathways and say, I'm not sure where I fit in, but I think we're able to make something work for.
We've had discussions in the business pathway about integrating fine arts into the business pathway because
that's content creation is the thing now, right? Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, they're making T-shirts for screening, you know, all those kinds of things that would be more artistic, and especially with Northwestern being, you know, the performing arts and everything that going
Visual and
right-
performing arts.
digital performing
Visual.
and performing arts. That is actually a great transition into having you know, those discussions and opportunities at the high school.
I appreciate everything, guys. Thanks.
Any other questions?
Like everyone said, thank you very much. It's great to meet you all and hear all of this information. You know, thank you for being here. A few questions. Some building off of that last one, because what I'm hearing is, well, what I can say in my experience is that these career pathways are really powerful and can really be important for this exploration, you know, at this phase in life. You know, for me, in high school, I had an opportunity do a health careers program, and I will say it was transformational in the sense also that I chose not to do that. You know, so what you're, I mean, legitimate, like, you know, and I'm great. I am so grateful to have figured that out at that age, you know, and not gone a different path. And so I appreciated you mentioning that of like that is also a valid part of the pathway, right? Is you're learning and you're exploring, and I'm glad to hear that. There are some individualized options, because I think some of my questions sort of similarly is like, what happened? There's so much actually more out there than these pathways, you know. So, you know, what do you do with those that don't fit into these boxes necessarily? But I guess it's been 7 or 8 years. The pathways, is that right? I guess I would love, you know, from a higher level, I guess, just to ask, you know, in that, this 7, 8 years now is a chunk of time. What have you really, like, what would you say are the really core lessons learned of what's worked really well about this model, and what are the limitations of the model?
I think, to be really transparent, one of the limitations of the model is that it's an investment from the district, right? To operate this way costs money and time, right? For example, our superintendent gives up a good amount of her time to co-chair a committee to inform the work that we do. And she's not the only one. We have multiple people that are, multiple of you in here have given time for that, and it's hard. When we're hiring teachers, one of the limitations is because we're one of the only career academies in the state of Michigan. Teachers come in, when we're hiring from outside of the district, if you will, teachers come in with a really narrow view often of what teaching is. So they come in of here's what it means for me to be an English teacher in a high school setting in every other high school in Michigan. So to come in and have to teach them, how do you teach through the lens of a career academies? How do you teach through the lens of career readiness? How do you teach through the lens of cultivating those soft skills or 21st century competencies? That's a different ask. So it's a huge investment in the teachers too, right? So we want to make sure that when teachers come to us, that we support them and train them and develop them so they stay, right? Because it does take a while to scale back up to the way of like collaboration. But I think the biggest investment for us is that we are a lever for equity, right? We recognize that students that come to us with concentrated vulnerabilities might not have a natural network of a family or friend group that can connect them to the internship, or that can connect them to a college visit, that can connect them to what does life beyond my neighborhood look like. And this for us is transformational. It gives kids a chance, like Isaiah said, to put it in your face over and over and over again, to really expand your worldview so that you can see something different for yourself, right? Jokingly, we always talk about it internally, that the Be It Academy, like, if a kid can see it, then they can be it. So for us, that's the big lever of pulling the community in and having our community and changing. And time and time again, our community partners come to us and they see Battle Creek Central High School and the students at Battle Creek Central High School, and they're thrilled, like what Principal Forrest said about CGI Mechanical. It's not the narrative that some people hold about who our district is, so it brings the community into our school to show that our kids are phenomenal kids and worth every investment.
And my other question, that slide of the 4 E's, I mean, I could geek out on that slide for a while. But the achievements, congratulations on the achievements with the honors and AP, but I would love to hear more of, like, how did you achieve that?
Great question. So in our partnership with Equal Opportunities Schools, we can definitely do another follow-up to do more learning with you. But the big picture view, we actually are in our new season for surveying. We survey all staff, we survey all students, really around what Equal Opportunity Schools has normed, I think it was 25,000 different data sets, to identify like what are the barriers that kids are facing that are keeping them from accessing honors and AP coursework. And then we also survey staff to look for like what are the staff mindsets and limitations on students. And that data kind of removes a layer of our implicit biases. We know that there's so much implicit bias that goes into what makes a student feel like I can take the step forward for AP, right? And students report that almost always it's a direct handoff or a staff saying, hey, I think that you're really AP material, right? But in the vacuum of those biases or the vacuum of those relationships, what are the other indicators that tell us that a kid has a level of readiness? So what that program does is it pulls the data from all the students who are currently or last year were currently enrolled in AP and honors courses, and it like triangulates that data against how do these other kids perform academically? How are they answering questions around barriers, and how are they answering questions around what supports they would need to take that step? And then we use that information for some targeted outreach with our counselors. So we pulled all the reports, generated these student information cards where they identified who are their trusted adults, who are their adults that support them academically, and we went to those adults. Hey, Jimmy said that you're one of their trusted adults, and they have all these indicators that say they should be engaging in AP work. Why aren't they? And leveraging those adult relationships to make those connections. But then we also switched from an opt-in model, which families transparently were stating, like, we don't have enough information on when they're selecting their courses. We don't have enough information on if my kid would qualify for one of those courses. So we just removed the barrier and went away from an opt-in model for families and students and went to an opt-out model. So we've taken all this data, that says you should be in one of these classes, and then the counselor comes to you and says, you're being placed in one of these classes because you should be. Let's talk about what support you might need to find success, because we know that dropping a class is not an intervention, right? The intervention is giving you the support you need to find success. And then if the student's like, no, I really don't want that because I have these 3 things going on. I don't want that because I really want to be in band. That's fine. We just want to make sure that your family's on board. And what we've gotten is the majority of the families, when we have that option, are really excited. Like, you saw something in my kid that we didn't see. You're not calling me to tell me my kid's in trouble. You're calling me to tell that my kid's going to be pushed to an honors class. Please sign them up, right? So it's been in a different approach from an opt-in to a more equitable approach of how do we target identification of kids and pull them in.
That's really cool. Thank you so much.
Trustee McClemmy?
So I have a question up here from the beginning and seeing this grow. It was a great presentation. And my question is, I had a chance to participate go and talk to some of the students through their career development. And some of the kids were surprised when it came to investigations. They were surprised how their school records, as far as suspensions, fights, criminal histories, those type of things could track them and follow them through these careers. There are several careers up there which will prevent them from participating. What are we doing, or how are we explaining that to our students and how that can affect them?
I think one of the things, exactly what you said, bringing people like you into the schools to help them see that. We regularly, especially the people up here, are often the ones that end up with kids who might be in a situation where they're compiling a discipline record, and that is very much so a part of our language, helping connect how are your current choices impacting future outcomes, and really drawing those connections. But sometimes kids they hear from us, and they hear just like they've heard it from other principals before, heard it from their caregivers at home. So it's really helpful that this model does exactly that, where it brings somebody from the field to say, hey, do you recognize, I'm not your teacher, I'm not your principal that's harping on you, I want you to see it from my perspective. So thank you for that. And that is a big part of the Career Academy.
And I wanted to say, Can I add, like, our partnerships, one of our biggest partnerships is our Men of Potential program. And bringing in Kalamazoo, Black Male Alliance to help do that work, have those conversations with our kids, and then get them into spaces where they can say, you know what, if I change my direction now, I can be there. And one of their greatest kids that they helped put on campus of Texas, the Texas State, Texas Southern, was on that path. Like, as a freshman, we weren't quite sure if he was going to make it based on the decisions that he was making. And through that partnership, we really got him on a different path and got him into a space where he didn't see himself 40 years. So now he's a freshman down there.
I have a few. So, three precise. First one is related to, it might fall under a BEd category, but supply chain is a big thing here. We have a lot of industrial industries here, so how does that come through with our model, or is these community partners saying like we have a need for certain areas in supply chain? Like, are we making that connection with this program?
I'd say that those are definitely areas of growth. Through, again, like the business pathway, that would fall into the business pathway. And we've really been focusing on marketing. That has been the focus in business. And so that's one of the, we talked earlier about Ford, actually, becoming a stronger partner with the Blue Oval, and opportunities that we might be having come in around that. So we're really pushing for really expanding opportunities within the business pathway, not having it just focused so much on marketing and school store and retail. Those are the areas really that we've had a lot of concentration in. And I would say, again, this keeps coming up, we're on the skilled trades area. And kind of just marrying those things and opportunities where they're coming into the school and students are having hands-on opportunities, because you can sit there and reading out of the books all day and the students really don't engage in that, and that's what we continue to find out. So that's really where we're pushing the business pathway.
My next question was related to AI in general. So I'm curious how that is making its way in, how the students are utilizing, or even the teachers, since you're saying the teachers are teaching through the lens of the pathway. It seems like that would give them a shortcut to however they're doing that. So have there been discussions around that?
Yeah, I would say that we are very much on the frontier of AI. I think it's growing rapidly, exponentially even. So AI is one of those things that, in transparency, that we're becoming co-learners with students. They often are ahead of us on that frontier of AI learning and finding ways to shortcut. But we are constantly in communication of what does it look like for us to leverage that as far as like lesson planning and just like from the very school specific, but then also trying to engage and learn from the field, from our community partners. And what does AI look like in manufacturing, and how do we help embed and learn from that? Because it's growing. There's so many different AI platforms. I don't know if my head's spinning from it, but.
Yeah, I'd be interested if partners even know, because I know in my job we're trying to figure it out too, so thought you might have had the hack. The last question I have is related to the WK Academy, Prep High School, excuse me. Is it eventually, or the goal, to have it become a pathway, or is it still siloed off? Because we were talking about how we have these BEd, we have HHS, and then there's WK Prep. Is it going to eventually be integrated? Because you said credit recovery, so I just wasn't sure if that was something.
So currently we're still our own entity, housed within Battle Creek Central High School and sharing resources with to help consolidate costs and things to that nature. We're still very much so our own identity at this point. Now what the future looks like for that, I'm not 100% sure. I think there's ways to like increase our partnership, as it's still a very new venture for us to like figure out how we all integrate together. So it's something I'm very hopeful to see how that all plays out, but I don't have like this is exactly what our plan is moving forward, because we're still in the very new stages of that.
And I'll say that selfishly for me, my goal is that how do we keep kids from going downriver and ending up needing intervention like WK. Not that it's my goal or desire to stomp out or put out their flame, right? But what I've been thankful of is the partnership really has been a two-way partnership where they're informing our practice a lot too, right? Around like how do we provide targeted intervention and rapid acceleration of credit to the rigor of the standard, right? So we're not lowering the bar, like how do we just give kids credit and shoot them through? How can we learn from their personalized model, how kids can get that personalized support to accelerate their credit acquisition from credits that they may have missed and still have access to the Career Academies model. So we're trying to figure out like how do we account for that catch-up growth internally so that kids may not necessarily need access to that, while recognizing that there are some kids who are going to need access to something different no matter what. So we're trying to find that sweet spot, and we're leaning into the direction a lot of our executive team to help guide us through that.
Yeah, because my thought was kind of where you're going of, you may end up in the path of the but the focus WK, but is there a way to veer back on? And then you're back into, and maybe some people don't want that, but if they want to veer back into one of these health or one of these career academies, is that prohibited right now? It sounds like right now it's separated, but eventually.
I mean, we explore all student cases. We've had a couple of students like request, like, hey, if I made up my credits and got back on track grade level wise, could I make that situation, like that veer back? We take all that to our student success team, and so far we haven't had anybody who's met that criteria, but it is something that like we've already discussed, like what would that sort of look like for our team, and communicating that with all the support systems involved to make sure that if that were to happen, a student was fully supported to make that happen.
I think it might be also really good for Dr. Cheeks to explain why it's a separate entity around, so that all board members understand why it didn't get integrated.
Because WK operates under a model where they're hybrid, but their attendance is based on what we call a two-way mentor log. Because they're receiving their education mostly online, but they have a teacher in front of them. They're a hybrid model, so they have to be under an entity that operates as a hybrid model that has virtual components to it. So at the state level, they have to right now be separated in an entity that is, because Central is a face-to-face, in-person, attendance-based only entity. So WK as of now needs to remain separated so that we can appropriately claim the full-time equivalency, which is the FTE for each pupil.
Questions, comments? Thank you all so much. Okay, moving on to C, Invest in Kids proposal. So in the board packet, you'll see the sample resolution that I got. They actually, this group came and spoke to the MASB Board of Directors and suggested that each director take back to their home district this resolution to hopefully be endorsed and supported. So the main, I mean, you can read all the whereases, but the main part is the very last page where it says what they're trying to accomplish. Propose the amendment to the Michigan Constitution to impose a 5% fair share surcharge on annual taxable income over $1 million for joint filers and over $500,000 for single filers, to raise funds for career and technical education, reducing class sizes and attracting and retaining educators in public schools across the state, and is subject to an annual audit. So that's basically what they want to be put on the ballot, and they're looking for local districts in the state of Michigan to support and endorse this. So I told them I would bring this to our board to discuss, and then next meeting we would vote on it. Are there any questions or thoughts? I mean, I may not have the answers, but after reading this, are there any thoughts or questions on this resolution?
I couldn't see the second page now. I only got the first page, so it didn't make sense. So now I see.
Perfect.
So, what was, who sponsored this? Who put this together?
This group, this Michigan, or Invest in MI Kids. That's the group that is doing this, yeah.
So is our recommendation, because this isn't specific, so I'm sure we have the ability to amend it.
Absolutely.
But really, we're trying, we gotta be technical in this day and age, we want it to go to the public. So all this money will be pulled from our tax and then goes to public school funding.
Correct. Yep.
So it kind of hints at public schools across the state, but I think it needs to be more specific than that, because and you're gonna get cute and cut off a certain amount and say, oh, well, career and technical education can be for anything.
Oh, yeah, try.
So I just want to say, for me, I want to sharpen that language a little bit more. If this is a resolution we adopt, to be clear that it needs to be distributed amongst the public schools in Michigan, if that's our focal point.
So, thank you for this. That's my thought process. I couldn't quite get there. If something about this was bugging me, I think you hit the nail for me. Yeah, this could be charter, or there's no specific language here. Is it just for public schools? I think that's what was bugging me, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. That's why I'm like, okay, yeah, you gave me the name of this group, but I'm suspicious. Who is this? And so I would like to, public school.
I will get an answer for you for our next meeting.
I do feel like it's addressed in the actual ballot proposal. It mentions like public schools, it mentions the school aid fund. And to my knowledge, the school aid fund is just for any schools.
Go to charter.
Yeah, I'm reading this, and I'm like, I ain't feeling this. And I thank you for that lawyer we got over there.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I think it's fair way to do things, but yeah, I think sure it is the public schools.
Yep. Sounds good. I'll bring something back next meeting. Any other discussion? Okay, moving on to D, Sustainable Facilities and Enrollment Alignment Committee. Dr. Carter.
So from time to time, we have ad hoc committees that, that meet for a short period of time for a very specific purpose. And in your board packet, what I am recommending is that we establish what we're gonna call the Sustainable Facilities and Enrollment Alignment Committee, with the sole purpose of developing a long-term student-centered plan that looks at our facilities, our enrollment, and that we are basically making sure that we're using our facilities appropriately across the district. The committee will analyze trends, explore options, and make recommendations that promote efficient resource use, equitable access, and high-quality learning environments for every student. So the scope of the work is that they will review district enrollment patterns, demographic data, and facility utilization. They will assess opportunities for optimization, consolidation, and future growth, and then develop recommendations that balance fiscal responsibility with educational excellence, just to name a few. And so what I would like is that the board, my recommendation is that the board approve the establishment of this committee, and then decide what 2 members would like to be a part of that work.
So since this is under discussion, would this be?
It doesn't need a vote.
Okay.
I think that by consensus,
Yeah.
we're good with establishing, but what we wanted to talk about today is who would be representative on that committee.
I would like to be on that committee. Volunteers.
So, anyone else?
This is about facilities, right?
Correct.
I would like to be on that.
Can I ask a question about the school? So to be clear, it's really focused more on facilities versus looking at enrollment from a bigger picture of
both.
It's gonna look at, like, as in, this committee would look at strategies to increase enrollment, for example.
Well, strategies to maybe even streamline our facilities usage. It might come out a recommendation that we consolidate some of our schools. It might be that we look at different times, start and end times for schools. All the things that could optimize our enrollment while also making us fiscally responsible around facilities usage. So I have Dr. Perry and Dr. Johnson. Is there a alternate that would like to be named, just as a backup?
Trustee McClenny, you said yes?
He said it so fast. All right. Well, I will then circle back with starting to set up some dates for convening the committee, and then the responsibility of the board trustees will be that they will provide updates and reports at our regular work sessions.
How will you choose the other participants?
So I'm going to send out a request for some community volunteers, and then I'll work with the two board members to determine who might also need to have a voice on this committee as well. So this won't be the sole. And then there are some voluntold staff members that have to be a part of the committee because they have some information.
Yes.
Okay.
Guilty.
Thank you so much. Moving on to E, I will entertain a motion to go into closed session.
President,
Yes, Trustee Grejek?
we go into closed session, disclose attorney-client privilege information.
It's been moved by Trustee Grejek, supported by Trustee Johnson. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say yes. Yes. All opposed say no. Motion passes. We are now
Okay, I'd like to entertain a motion for us to go back into open session. Support. It's been moved by trustee McClenny and supported by trustee Dr. Johnson. Any discussion? All right. And all in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Anyone opposed? All right, we're back in open session. Go ahead, thank you, Deborah. Okay. Do we have any public comment? Okay, let's move on to superintendent comments.
Right. Thank you to our community partners who participated in the Bearcats Future Sphere today. It was really exciting to go over there. We hope that this is one of many opportunities for our community to come together and explore what life looks like after Battle Creek Central. Also join us for our high school's fall play this weekend. It's November 14th and 15th at 7 p.m. Tickets are $7 for general admission and $5 for students and seniors. I want to remind everyone that attendance is the key to success. Being in school on time makes a huge difference in your academic performance.
Moving on to board member comments. Trustee McClenny?
Yes, thank you. I had a chance to participate through Goodwill Connects through the career fair that they had at the school last week. The Public Defender's Office actually had a chance, and we had our chief public defender and an attorney, and then myself, one of the investigators, and it was very interesting. The students were really shocked. Some of the questions they had, especially when it came to investigations. I kind of mentioned it earlier. The students had questions about what my job entitled. And so it was a very interesting conversation where I got to sit down and explain to them where they used the example of, well, what if two kids fight? How is that going to affect me later on in whatever career we decide? So I got to explain to them that if necessary, I can go back and get your school records. And they were like, no, you can't do that. Those records are private. We're juveniles. So it was a very interesting conversation to have with some of the students. And one of the other questions was social media, Snapchat. And one of the young ladies go, Snapchat disappears, and I explained to her that I have tools, we have tools to actually recover those records. So it was very interesting. They were like, what? You mean what I wrote to stop me from doing this and doing that? And I go, absolutely. And you can get those? Yeah, those records are not gone. So I had a good time to see the students running around whispering to each other. Maybe we need to get rid of Snapchat. But social media, it was a fun time. But I think that is an area where all schools, especially ours, we need to address, because it was just interesting. It was fun, but it was interesting to learn that they really didn't understand the ramifications of those type of actions, fighting, anything along discipline that would follow them. But it was a good time, yes, and I do plan on doing it again. We were invited back. They wanted more details. We only had a little while, but so it was a good time, and I enjoyed it.
Any other board members? I do. So Washington Heights, we're having a Mystery at the Cotton Club Roaring 20s Dinner and Mystery event on December 10th. I'm on the board, and it's at the Doubletree Hill. It's going to be fun. And so I am selling tickets. They are $50, but it's going to be a good time. So if anybody would like tickets, see me. And then I also want to say congratulations to our superintendent, Dr. Carter, on her award. You have worked really, really hard for how long now? Yes. So
I am happy for you, and I appreciate your service and dedication.
I'll give my comments real quick. This came across in Monday messages, but also I attended the high school for the high school football banquet. And one of the great highlights about that banquet was that they said 39 of the boys had a GPA over 3.0. So that's something that we definitely need to highlight. Being a student athlete, speaking from experience, is work. So it's really great to hear that. And I think the number actually might have been 41. There was a couple people who didn't have an award, so I don't know if they were in the official count. But it was really nice to see that come through for our boys. That's the end of my comments. I'm going to read President Fulbright's comments. So he said, the first meeting in December, we will be discussing nominations for citizen and professional CASB awards. Second meeting, we will vote. The task is to think of nominations to bring to the group so we can talk about them. So I'll expand on that for our newer members. This is something we do every year. There are two different categories. The citizen is just anyone in the community that's doing something, and professionals is perhaps educators usually. So think of people who you think should qualify for that. We'll probably have more information in our board packet, but then we'll nominate somebody as a award and then submit that for a vote, and then that person may end up winning. So have that in mind. The next comment he had is February is our next joint board meeting. November 18th is his next president's meeting. So if you have any ideas for topics for the next meeting or a speaker, please let Charlie know. And then also you can email him any feedback that you may have had from the last session. And as a reminder, we talked about AI in our last session. His next comment is House Bill 4588. We may all have different thoughts on House Bill 4588, partisan elections for school board members. I personally do not support it because if it does pass, that means I will have to resign because federal employees cannot hold any office that is partisan. So if we all are in agreement, I would love to have a statement from our board to our state representative, Steve Frisbee, urging him to vote no on this if it comes to the floor. So again, this is Charlie's comment, not me. I don't work for the next one he has is Veterans Day. I want to personally thank all of the veterans for your service, bravery, and sacrifice. He said he did not go to the military, so he doesn't know what it's like or what you all have been through, but I know it takes courage, and I'm grateful for that you choose to do it. So he's saying Happy Veterans Day, which is tomorrow. I will add to his comment, my dad was a Vietnam vet, and then my brother, Iraq. So those are the close veterans in my life. I have cousins and all, but Happy Veterans Day to them as well. And then his last comment is Southwestern Junior High School, Saturday, November 15th, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Historic Society. That is all it says. I don't know what else that means. So if anybody else has context.
Yeah, there's going to be like a farewell tour of the building.
Got it. Perfect.
Going and Kurt
Thornton, yeah. So they'll be doing. So we sorry, my bad. So we're doing like we're allowing some Southwestern alums to walk a certain pathway that's already been mapped out. They'll have to sign a liability waiver before going in. Naturally, you know, we're trying to protect ourselves, but just giving people the ability to say bye to the building, right? Say the theme is saying goodbye to an old friend. So, yeah.
And Kurt Thornton's a local historian, well respected, well versed in all history.
And a Southwestern alum.
Anyway.
Oh, cool. So as a reminder, that is this Saturday, November 15th from 10 to 1 p.m. 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Awesome. Well, if there are no other comments, there are great things happening at Battle Creek Public Schools. We are now adjourned.
We're gonna give them masks. I'm gonna not hard hats, but the mask has to be.
I might go to that. I didn't go to Southwestern.
Southwestern.
We're still live. Okay.
I know Southeastern has one.